It's time for the next installment in the SH Arts One Piece line, Romance Dawn, Monkey D. Luffy. Tamashii fully caught me off guard when they revealed that they were doing pre-time skip One Piece figures. Like, I thought they were going to do Egghead Island next, but nope, instead we were getting pre-time skip figures. I ain't complaining though, because the pre-time skip figures they revealed so far have all looked so good in the promos, and I legit got so hyped when I saw Luffy's promos fully, because they all look fantastic and show just how fun this figure could be. But despite looking good, I did have my skepticisms and many questions about this release. Will the quality control be bad, such as legs popping off and tight shoulder joints that end up breaking very easily? Because we all know just how bad that first release of Luffy was.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
So now that the new Luffy is here, there's only one way to get the answers to these questions and skepticisms, and that's to get this review started. First, we're going to look at Luffy's packaging. Luffy's box really makes me happy. We can see the figure inside and a really nice promo image of the figure on the front. Top of the box has a Straw Hat cutout, one side of the box shows some of the faceplates this figure comes with, while the other side has its name and the promo image. Here's the bottom of the box. The back of the box fully showcases the figure. One Piece line's packaging is always clean, and this one is no exception. But I know y'all are eagerly waiting for me to open this guy and share him with y'all, so let's find out if this figure is on top or not. This figure is amazing. It has literally been such a blast playing with. The amount of fun I'm having with this figure is actually insane. This might be my definitive Luffy figure. Despite his awesomeness though, I do have an issue or two with this figure that we will cover later. To start off with, he looks freaking amazing. They executed his pre-time skip look really well. His proportions are spot on. He is in his iconic red vest that is done really nicely as it has some wrinkles sculpted in and the buttons are painted really nicely. The bottom of the vest is a separate piece that is a soft plastic material. The vest looks great, but sadly I have one major gripe about it, and it's the fact that the figure's branding is on the back of it. When you lean Luffy a little bit forward, you can see it very clearly. To me, it's not the biggest of deals, but to others, I could see it being bothersome. Since he is in his vest, we can see his arms fully on display. Now let's talk about his blue shorts. These shorts might look a lot like the other Luffy shorts, but these are different. These actually have a flap on the back of the shorts that allow much more knee flexion, unlike the other Luffy where they were cemented in. Actually, all this figure is a new sculpt besides the hat, hips, and feet. So that means this is pretty much an entirely new figure. Even his lower leg area is different, as it doesn't look bent as much and the calves are a little smaller. I think the revamped lower leg area looks a lot better, as it looks more natural and not as weird looking as other Luffy's. Overall, for the look, I am very happy that it is good as what it is. Of course, I know there will be some people making the argument that he doesn't look like pre-time skip Luffy, which is fair. In the anime, pre-time skip Luffy definitely has a different look than this figure, but I think this Luffy was based off a more modern pre-time skip look, and I really don't mind now. Now it's time for me to answer y'all's burning question. Does he suffer from horrendous quality control issues? And no, this figure does not have the bad QC issues that the other Luffy did. Instead, this figure moves and feels really freaking nice. He doesn't feel like cheap garbage and actually feels somewhat premium. He's legit so much easier to pose. The arms move freely without the shoulders tightening up or squeaking really bad like how the first Luffy's was. Because my copy of the other Luffy's arm literally locked up and then another one of his shoulder joints broke. Then the legs on this figure also move way more freely and effortlessly, as we ain't got to position his torso in a certain way just where his legs go forwards. And this guy can actually sit crisscross applesauce. Nah, sadly, I'm just playing. He still can't do that. I just popped his legs off and positioned him to where it looked like he was. Sorry guys. Definitely sucks that he still can't do that without any form of extra assistance. Also, as I've been messing more with this figure, I've ran into an issue of his right knee area popping off when I try to twist it. It pops back in, but a lot of time I do move it, it pops out, which sucks. And I do own a second copy, and on that copy, I don't have that issue. So just be aware of this potential issue. This figure is still such a pleasure to own despite that issue. I mean, he looks great and poses pretty damn well. Since he has good nose areas, let's now see about his accessories. Luffy first comes with 4 interchangeable faceplates. He comes with a teeth grin and smiling face, which is a face I really wasn't too fond of at first, but in person actually looks a lot better than it does on camera. Then he comes with a mouth open happy face. This face I really like as it looks damn good. Next he comes with an angry yelling face, and wow, this is one of my favorite Luffy faceplates. The eyes having that signature pupil dilation, the forehead vein, and the way the mouth is open really makes his face great. It reminds me of when Luffy fought Arlong. Then he comes with, in my opinion, the best Luffy faceplate ever, a meat-eating face. Like, what? This faceplate captures Luffy's persona perfectly. He is always happy and bro loves to eat. All of the faces I think look amazing, and I really love the detail they did on these faces, by including the gums around his teeth, because on the faceplates they made for the other Luffy, they did not have this detail. Also, while we are talking about faceplates, yes, all the DLC faceplates and the Wano Luffy faceplates fit on this figure. I am really happy they do, because now there's a ton more fun to be had with this figure. Luffy then comes with 2 different head sculpts, one for wearing his hat and one for not. These are so much easier to swap than the other Luffy, as we don't have to swap the neck peg hole every time we want to change heads. Instead, they gave both of the heads their own, which is great, because the other release made it a pain in the ass to head swap. This was definitely a major improvement. Also, with the hatless head, sadly, there isn't a hat hanging option for the figure. And while we were talking about the hatless head option, whenever you put the faceplates on it, I feel like they can look a little weird. Then to carry on with accessories, Luffy comes with 8 interchangeable hands. He comes with 2 fisted hands, 2 open hands, 2 clenching hands, a pointer finger hand, which can be used for that signature point to the sky, or it can be used from when he spun his hat on his finger in the intro. Then lastly, he comes with a holding something hand. This hand is made to hold his meat. That's right, Luffy comes with a meat stick, and damn, this accessory looks amazing. It paired up with the meat eating face just makes me so damn freaking happy. To put his meat in his hand, all you gotta do is take the bone out of the meat, slide the bone into his hand, and then put the meat back on the bone. It really is amazing that they included this accessory. And that's it for accessories. Sadly, no Gum Gum accessories in this release, but Tamashii recently announced that they are making a Gum Gum accessory kit that just looks so amazing. I am very hyped for that set. My only issue with it is that his hat hanging option is included in that set. That should have been included in this release. Very lame that that is hidden behind that paywall. But if you do have the Gear 5 Luffy, you can use its hat. Also, one accessory I'd like to see get made by Tamashii is either a faceplate of him pulling his cheek or a head pulling one that stretches his neck. Overall though, I am satisfied with the amount of accessories that this guy comes with. Compared to the first Luffy, he comes with 2 more hands and a meat stick for the exact same price. So these accessories all look good and have made this figure so much more fun. So now, let's check out his articulation. To start off with articulation, Luffy can look this far upwards and really far downwards. He gets an amazing amount of head tilt all around, and he can look side to side. His arms can go this far upwards, and one thing to point out, when his shoulders are up, we can see the cut and the sculpt they decided to use. This is like how it was on the first Luffy, and I know many people weren't fond of that design choice. Then there's rotation at the shoulders, he has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that get a great amount of bend, and then he has great wrist movement. His arms can then cross over one another going forwards, and then he can go this far backwards, which is perfect for his Gum Gum Bazooka. His upper diaphragm was something I was skeptical of, but it actually moves really well all around. I love it when the upper diaphragm joint actually does something. Then his waist is on a ball joint and it gets great movement all around. With the upper diaphragm and waist joint, Luffy can bend this far forwards and then this far backwards. It is now time to talk about the legs. They can go this far forwards, this far backward, and then this far outwards. But sadly, there still isn't a thigh swivel on this figure, which sucks because a simple thigh swivel would put this figure onto another level. Then his knees are actually improved a little as they can bend slightly past 90 degrees. Also, there is rotation at the knee. And then he has great ankle articulation and a toe joint. To me, Luffy's articulation is actually good. The only thing I would gripe is obviously adding a thigh swivel to his figure, but other than that, I've actually been able to put Luffy into a lot of really cool poses pretty easily. So now, let's see how Luffy stacks up next to some other figures. To start off with, here's Romance Dawn Luffy next to the Raiden Onigashima Luffy. And yes, all the parts are interchangeable between these two figures. And if you wanted to make a post-time skip Luffy, then you can use the Wano Luffy's torso, and the Romance Dawn Luffy's legs, and the Anime Hero sash. With the Anime Hero sash, you will need to cut out this little plastic piece to be able to slide it on Luffy. Once you cut that piece out, it is very easy to do this kit bash. Pop the Wano Luffy torso off, slide the Anime Hero sash on, and then put the torso onto the pre-time skip legs, and bam, post-time skip Luffy with the blue shorts. I think this looks sick. Now, the sash could be lower, so if you hauled it out more, you definitely could get it lower, but I think this looks fine. Next for comparisons, here's Romance Dawn Luffy next to the first SH Figuarts Luffy. Despite there being a 10-year difference between these figures, I really feel like the first Figuarts Luffy still holds its ground. I mean, this dude can sit crisscross applesauce with no problem at all, and he comes with a Gum Gum effect piece. You can actually use this piece on a new Luffy sorta, just pop his shoulder piece off and plug the peg into the effect piece and voila. It's obviously way too heavy, but if you have a stand, you can get some really nice shots with it. Here he is next to the Sentinel Ace. Wow, these two look really damn good next to each other. Next here is Romance Dawn Luffy next to the Gear 5 Luffy. Here he is next to the Figure Art Sanji and Zoro. Here he is next to Kid and Law. Here he is next to Kaido. Here he is next to Kid and Naruto. These two posed up together is really wholesome. Here he is next to Figure Arts Team Gojo. Here he is next to Demoniacal Fit Goku, and lastly, here he is next to Storm Collectibles Yujiro Hama. To conclude my thoughts about this figure, I have to say he is peak. I am not lying to y'all when I was fully expected to shit on this figure, but thankfully, I did not have to. He looks beautiful, poses great, and has some neat accessories, and I am so damn glad he doesn't have horrendous QC issues and poor design choices. Now we wait for the Gum Gum Effect Kit to release, so then we can fully release this figure's potential. Because that set will make this figure 100 times better, and will literally make it non-stop fun. To continue with my final thoughts about this figure, he is a figure I definitely recommend to any One Piece or non-One Piece fan, as I feel like anyone would enjoy him. If you want this guy, you can get him on Amazon now, as he is still up for pre-order for $35. I'll put the link in the description for those of y'all who want him. I've been loving this figure, and I'm positive you guys will too. Now we wait for the rest of the pre-time skip figures. I'm extremely hyped for that new Shanks, Ace, and Zoro. Who do y'all want to see next in the pre-time skip line? Hope we get Usopp, because pre-time skip Usopp would be an amazing figure to have. That's it for this one, guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this review. I'll see y'all on the next one. One Piece is on top.